Greetings everyone and welcome to Colony Survival, a new short series for the channel. This game was developed and published by Pipliz and is currently in early access. Now, the game has, it has more than a passing similarity to several other games in the sort of survival genre. Only graphically, though. This game, at its heart, is more of a colony management sim, as stated in the name, really, where you will be responsible for building a colony block by block and then recruiting peasants and having them do various jobs. Now, the game is in early access, and so I expect to see quite a lot more features and things that you can get your peasants to work on. But what is there already is actually quite compelling. I find myself wanting to play quite a lot of the time, actually. So we're going to jump into the game, as I believe that the best way of describing any game is simply to show it, and we're going to be starting a new world. Now, I've only had a brief foray into the game, only played a couple of minutes in order to get to grips with the controls and generally how the game works. But one thing I did notice is, and this may be a product of the game being in early access, and that's not all of the intended features there yet, but I found the game a little bit easy on its basic settings. It wasn't much of a challenge with the settings at this. Now, there's two ways that you could increase the danger. Monsters can spawn at day, so it'll be an unending wave of attacks on your village, and it may increase the difficulty of setting one up as a result. Certainly you wouldn't want farms on the outside, or you can just increase the amount of danger present at the nighttime raids. And I think we're going to be going with that one rather than going all in with monsters during the day as well. Mostly because I don't know how the game is going to scale, like how much more monsters will be there as the colony expands. So let's not plan for failure, shall we? Right, we're going to be calling this one Dapper Dell. So there we are. The colony of Dapper Dell shall be founded, and I will see you in the game. Okay then, here we are. We are in the game and in a forest, it seems. Actually, looks like the land is heading up in that direction. Generally, I have found that if you're looking for a nice open space to build, head down. Head down towards the valley. That is a thick crops of trees over there. Okay, let's see. We've got plenty of room to build over here. No huge, gigantic mountains, though. That is a bit of a shame, as I was hoping to build a mountain fort. But, oh well, never mind. I guess we could build our own mountain with a bit of time. Now, initially, from what I've seen, you have all the time in the world to set up. Don't worry too much, even with lots of monsters. They don't seem to start showing up until you actually have a flag and some colonists. So, let's have a quick look around. I really don't think there's much of a mountain anywhere, unless... No, I fancy that leaves from trees. Okay, fair enough then. We will start around here, and then we'll have these trees to dig up. Now, I've seen the way that a lot of people have played this game so far, and generally speaking, the typical method is to build a perimeter wall and have all your buildings, all your farms on the inside, maybe your farms on the outside, perhaps, but generally it's just a square wall around some land. I am feeling like I want something that looks a little better than that. As ever, I am going to put aesthetics ahead of efficiency, and if that is going to rot your brain, well, I have given you advanced warning, so on your own head, be it, really. Now, two things to know about your hotbar and your stockpile. This is where your villagers will put things and take things from. If it's not here, then your villagers don't have access to it, and that includes arrows for your archers. Down here is what you have access to, and that includes your crafting. Villager crafting takes from here, your crafting takes from here. If it's not in your hotbar down there, it doesn't matter. If it's over there, you won't be able to craft with it. Now that caught me out initially when I tested the game out. Down here we have a couple of command, admin things where we can set out areas for people to work in and our banner. But first and foremost, I think, well, we're definitely going to need a couple of beds. So I'm going to just make 4 of those and pop those down there. We're not going to worry about an oven yet or a furnace or anything like that, but we will need a few crates for storage. These are basically equipment drop-off points for our colonists. Let's see. You know what? I'm a fairly big fan of like stilted buildings, so let's go ahead and build something along those lines. Let's not go too over the top initially. We don't want a gigantic building. Let's make something. Well, actually, second thoughts. Second thoughts. I know I'm gonna be going back and forth on what I decide to do quite a lot, but. You know what? As much as I'm not keen on going too over the top to begin with, I would like some sort of longhouse-like structure. You know what? I'm gonna be. I may be noble, but I'm a noble of the people. I shall rule my people fairly. They can even sleep in my house. You can't say fairer than that, in my humble opinion. Not even slightly fairer than that. So let's draw this out. I would like a bit of a walkway around my home. So this will be the perimeter around the actual central structure. And on the inside then we'll have a couple of beds. It may even be big enough like this to have a second story. Oh, that'll be rather swanky, wouldn't it? All the other nobles will be jealous of my keep. Oh, indeed. And the feasts that we'll have in there. Unfortunately, I've run out of planks, so let's bring those back down. There we go. Now, there's a fairly limited number of block types in the game as it stands. I'm hoping that that will increase as the game progresses through early access and into a more feature-complete state. But for now, there's more than enough to make quite pretty little kingdoms. You've got bricks and Martin Bailey sort of stuff, straw, all of those kinds of things. Let's say that the stairs up, it's going to be about here, I'm going to say. And we'll have a little bit of log on the outside. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so on the inside is where we're going to have our building. Now, I'm not super keen on this being... well, this is going to be the first building. You know what? Let's not get too ambitious to begin with. We are a budding young kingdom. We don't want to spend all of our starting resources on making a stone house. The enemies will not damage buildings. So really what you make something out of is purely down to aesthetics, which is, you know, in my opinion, quite an important thing to be making these decisions on. But you don't need to have like a stone building because stone is more durable than wood. It's not in this game. It may be in the future though, and I'll have to bear that in mind. But we'll just start off with a nice little platform. We won't even have any walls to begin with. This is a very humble kingdom. We will start simple and build up, damn it. I need more planks. I have no more planks. That is unfortunate. I'll bring down some more logs, and then I will make planks out of those logs. There we go. Because we don't need too much. Now, one thing with not having that many different block types to build out of, for example, there's no difference in the woods. It can look a little bit samey if you make like an entire plank building. Yeah, that doesn't scream. It doesn't really sing to me. Screaming? No. We won't be doing any screaming today. Hopefully not. Anyway, maybe if the zombies get in and then start eating people. But let's be very clear on this. I hope that does not happen. Now, you know what? I believe that we will have. I think our banner, which is more or less the center of your kingdom, should really be built up on some sort of plinth. We want it to be very nice and visible from miles around. Additionally, although initially I thought that the banner would be like the lose condition, if the zombies get to the banner, they would destroy it. They don't actually seem to care. They only really seem to care about eating your brains. All the brains of your peasants. And unfortunately, it doesn't take many bites to kill you. So that seems to say to me that our brains are not particularly voluminous, which I am very sorry to say. Right, I think this would be a nice place for our banner. So let's go ahead and pump that one down there, nice and tall. We will need access to the banner. So I'll dig that back a little bit. And I think we've also started with a couple of torches, which is fantastic. We also picked up some wheat seeds along the way, which is quite nice. Pop some torches around the banner so that everyone can see where they need to go at night. Marvelous. We'll also pop some torches up on here. Now, as I said, it doesn't seem that zombies will even start to spawn until you've got a reasonably set up little kingdom. At least, I've not noticed them spawn until there's someone to kill other than me. That may not always be the case, but so far that seems to be the case. So we're going to pop down a couple of beds over here. Our longhouse will house our citizenry, and we can go and recruit some already. But it's nighttime, and that nighttime means it's not necessarily time for farming yet. So I'm going to wait until it's a little bit closer to the dawn, because I want to get the most work out of my farmers. I'm going to cut down these trees though, because we're going to need more building supplies. And yes, the leaves will eventually disappear, apparently. There we go. All the trees are now dealt with. Now, we want to use the command tool, and I would like to set up a wheat farmer ideally. Let's leave a little bit of room there, like maybe a path will go along here, maybe a double path, and then some fields. So let's draw this out around about, let's say there. So these areas can have a total of 100 tiles in the area. It can be any shape. Well, any oblong or square shape, that is. Any shape, as long as the shape is a square. But effectively, you can only have 100 tiles in the area. So a 10 by 10 seems to be the most obvious one to go for there. We are going to want a few fields, though. Each field produces a set amount of wheat. Let me quickly go and get some colonists. We'll take 2 colonists. Get to work, please. There we go. They're heading off to do some stuff straight away. Wonderful. Now, wheat takes about 2 days to reach maturity, and they will actually be using the wheat seeds that I've got in there. So there's a limited amount of farms you want to make, because it doesn't make any sense to have more than 4 full farms to begin with until they've managed to harvest some wheat. And you're starting to increase your wheat seed number. You also get it from just digging grass tiles. However, you'll notice that we started with 300 food, I believe it was. Each peasant will take 5 food per day and will consume 50 food to be hired. So a full-sized wheat field can sustain only a few peasants over those 2 days. So you don't want to get too hire happy right in the beginning. Now, we've got enough room for another couple of peasants. You need 1 bed and 50 food per person you recruit. I'm going to say we could go ahead and get a couple of extra archers. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Now, for this, I'm going to need to get a couple of bows. And we're going to need 2 quivers as well. And the quivers effectively allow us to say, right, I would like an archer more or less here. Now, the trick with this is when you place it down, you can rotate it, but that doesn't mean anything. They'll turn around and shoot at things, regardless which way you told them to face. However, if you then delete this later on, the peasant doesn't get deleted, but the bow that you gave them does. The quiver is fine. You can take it and place it somewhere else, but the bow is gone from that point. I'm going to say, yeah, let's get 2 archers at the only place that enemies can get up here. There and there, and then we'll go and hire those straight away. You can see up here that we've got unemployment. We haven't quite got enough people. Sure, okay, we'll get everyone set. We've got enough food to last these 2 days, and these 2 archers should do fine. They've got plenty of arrows there. I'm going to take 50 myself, and I'm actually going to make myself a bow as well. There we go. Now, we are going to need a location for the farmers to drop off their resources. And I'm going to say that one there and this one here. You probably could get away with just one between them, honestly. You don't need to place one down per field. Next up, we are going to want a mine. You can also set up foresters, as you may have already noticed. Let's get rid of that one. I didn't want that. You can set up a flax farmer, a forester, and a miner. Now, the miner does not just mine stone, unfortunately. It won't mine any stone, in fact. But it will mine ores. And the ores in this game are, for better or worse, infinite. That was a little bit of an odd one for me as well. But there's single ore nodes, and they are only found on the very lowest level in the game. Now, I'm going to put the mine somewhere over here. It's going to be a little bit further out from the main town. Sure, we'll place it up over here. We'll dig this away a little bit, and then we'll place that down. Now, the grass will regrow from what I understand, but it takes some time to do it. I'd like it to be, sure, about 3 wide, so 5 by 5 will be the perimeter for our mine. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, you can just dig a path diagonally down, like you can just bore into the mountain at an angle and go all the way down and basically make stairs. But I find that that is not particularly attractive, so I would prefer to make something a little bit more engaging. So we're going to have a wooden perimeter and then a spiral stairs going all the way down. And we'll start the perimeter right about there, which means we want a torch about there. And the torches are actually quite powerful. They provide an enormous amount of light. We'll see that once night time comes along. There we are. We've hit the stone layer. There we go. Now you may notice that my bricks immediately went up because in this game you don't need to process the stone that you mine. Once you've mined it, it's instantly brick, which, you know, I'm completely okay with that actually. The less work I need to do, the better. However, in this game, really, doing work yourself is not really the focus. You're a lord. You've got better things to be doing with your time, like running a kingdom, than going off and crafting various things. And in time, we're going to have peasants doing a lot of the crafting. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, you can't designate peasants to mine stone. So all of this is done ourselves, and likewise, you can't designate them to build things. There's no like blueprint system. Oh, that would be pretty cool if they added that. If you could like blueprint something and then say, okay, peasants, I want you to recreate this house over here. That would actually genuinely be pretty cool. I would be completely on board with that idea. Having like an architect peasant, just sending him around. Maybe even let him design the building. So I can't even imagine how crazy that would look. Probably not the wisest move, though it would be quite interesting to see how the AI decided to build things. But for the time being, we're just going to have to dig all the way down until we hit bedrock. And we'll notice that once the stone changes color. At that point, we will start finding ore nodes scattered around the floor. But it may take me a couple more layers to get down there. On the way, I'm going to stock up on bricks so that we can actually start making some nicer buildings. But I should also keep an eye on the time because I don't entirely trust my archers to do a good job yet. I would like to be able to trust them, but I don't. So I'll probably head back up come nighttime just to oversee the defenses. I'm not the kind of lord who just cowers in his keep while the men and women of the kingdom are out defending me. No. I will be like a Celtic chieftain. I'll be out there fighting with my people. Also because I don't trust them to actually fight well. But you know, I think all they need to take away from this is that I'm fighting alongside them. We don't need to go into all of the other details. Hurrah! We have found bedrock, which means we are now finding... Oh, right, we've got gold, and I have no idea. Let's mine a little bit of this. You can mine it yourself. We've got gypsum. I'm fairly confident that this is gold. In fact, the simple fact that it's taken me forever to mine it is telling me that this is gold. Yes, gold ore. Okay. Now then, now that we're down here, we need to expose more points. Oh, coal straight away. That is fantastic. I've had mixed luck with finding coal. You either find a lot of it and then nothing else, or you find everything else and then not coal. But this time, it seems okay. Iron, coal. Now, we will set up a furnace, and we'll also set up places for miners to go. But, yeah, it's getting dark. So let's head back up. And we can stand with our people and maybe even start building a little bit more of a proper defensive tower and perhaps even some walls around the place where everyone sleeps. There they go. We're heading. Where on earth are you going? Why are you going that way? That's crazy. Okay, there they are. All tucked into bed. Nice and snug. Right, okay, well, given that then, let's start building out a little bit of a wall around this and it'll look a little bit better for you. Now, you know what? I'm not even sure that I want the door right there, but it does seem to make sense to do that. You know, you kind of want the door right in the front, nice and large door, welcoming people in. showing that you've got nothing to be afraid of because your kingdom is just that well defended. Isn't that right, archers? You're completely not going to fail me. I have every faith in you. I don't really. There's a zombie. I love the way their eyes glow in the dark. Let's see if I can plink you from over here. I'm going to have to wait until you decide to travel down a path. That'll do. Womp. Bingo! Perfect. See, that's the way you got to do it. You got to aim up and just like zero in. The archers are actually incredibly well aimed. I've not noticed them use arrows if they don't kill something with them. And it's 1 arrow per zombie. As far as I've seen, though, I've only played for a few minutes. They never get tougher than that. However, they will increase in number. And as we can see, they're coming from all around. I'm not sure on the spawning mechanics. I don't believe it's anything like darkness dictates where they can spawn. I don't think... Wow, why did you let them get up here? This is what I was talking about. I don't trust you. Why are you so bad? You! Why is he having to defend? Oh, okay, now you're doing it now I'm watching. Yeah, I'm on to you. I'm going to name you George. You, however, will be Bob. Bob is the only competent archer here. George is just a lazy lout. He's doing it now because I'm shouting at him and looking at him. But George, you almost lost your brains. If it hadn't been for Bob, you would have been completely brainless. Not that I think that you aren't already. Right. Let's continue building up these walls. I'm probably going to add in a couple of windows, maybe even a window right behind George here, so I can make sure that George is not up to any shenanigans. Yes, George, I've got my eye on you. But I'm going to keep building up this wall, and I will bring you back when that's done, and hopefully when our archers are done defending the keep, and our farmers can go back out and start making food. Good times. Okay, it seems that we got through the night okay. I finished off adding a couple of things, a couple of windows as well. Looks quite nice out here. Oh, I hope there are no zombies died. Oh, that one died a little bit close to the farm. George, could you please not kill the zombies on the farm? Wait for them to come to you. They will come to you, you know. They won't just stay over there. They will eventually come. Maybe just kill them about here. I just have this thing about, you know, zombies dying in my fields, putting their zombie blood all over my plants. Last thing we want, George, is zombie plants. Zombie corn particularly, or tomatoes. Zombie tomatoes particularly bad. Don't want any zombie tomatoes. Right, I need some more coal because I no longer have any torches. And that is a little bit annoying. So let's head on down here and just grab a few lumps of coal. 5 should do. There we go. And then we can make a bunch of torches with said coal. Now, in terms of the actual smelting, we can't. From what I understand, you can't do any of that. You have to have someone else work the smelter, likewise working the workbench or the oven. We can't make ingots. We can't do any of that. We need someone else to do it. And I kind of like that. It's pretty cool mechanic as far as I'm concerned. This little area is actually fairly nice. Though one thing about it, it's really far away. So our miners will have a little bit of a walk to get back, and I'm worried that that is going to expose them to quite a large amount of death. That's not something I want to expose my miners to. So what I may do is actually build some housing down here in the mines. We will have proper miners that live in the mines, and it'll be marvelous, little cave apartments. But that does necessitate having guards. So there's probably a task for a little bit later down the road. For now, though, I think we'll probably have... Let's take this back one more layer, and then we'll have some workbenches and places where people can store items just built back here. For example, we could have a crate. Well, we might want a couple of crates, honestly, because there's quite a lot of room to walk around. But we could have a crate, for example, right there, and then a furnace over here. And then someone could come and work the furnace from time to time. But again, I think that's going to be something that we're going to set up a little bit later. Right now, I would rather work on having a lot of food. We're consuming 20 per day. We've got enough for 3 days at the moment, and a little bit of a 4th day as well. But this should all be ready by tomorrow. That is really good. We're not going to recruit anyone else yet. I'm a little bit disappointed with George. And not Bob, of course. Bob is awesome. But George, I think maybe I need to put you somewhere else, George. Maybe somewhere a little bit more defensible. Perhaps I could put you over here. Maybe we've got enough room in here for me to set up. Ooh. You know what? I like this idea. We're going to do away with this window, sorry. But this side is now turned into a staircase. We're going to go all the way up and it's going to be grand. Perfect. We're going to actually increase the size of our keep a little bit. That's going to be marvelous. There's going to be a lot of building in this, by the way. I don't want to take the keep up too many more layers, though. Honestly, I think we might just have maybe some crenellations at the top and some places for some more archers, perhaps. Something along those lines. I'm not sure if height improves the distance that archers can fire. I mean, realistically, it should, but I'm not sure if it does or how much of an effect that would have. You know what? I feel that this is a little bit squished in. I'm starting to think maybe Bob doesn't need to be watched and we could have the stairs going up there, because I would like one extra layer before we have the landing, because otherwise the window's going to look weird. And this matters to me, damn it. It matters a lot. So let's get rid of those, pop down some more bricks. There we go. So that whole wall is now sealed in. We want this one to be about there. Yeah, that'll do a lot better. So you can turn straight to the side and head straight up. On that note then, we can afford to have a torch. Yeah, you can have a torch down there and it lights that side up a little bit more. Lovely. We are going to need some more beds. There's places we can place them. Now, one thing to be aware of, there is an oven. And ovens make bread. Now, bread, you'd think, would be great. It's like a higher tier food source. It's going to be awesome. However, bread has a food value of 3, but I'm fairly certain it takes more than 6 wheat to make. I think it takes 8 wheat to make a piece of bread. And wheat by itself has a food value of 0.5. So the thing with bread and wheat is that you're better off just letting your people eat wheat. You'll get more food out of it. The only caveat to that is bread will heal you. Wheat does not by itself. So bread for healing, wheat for nomming should generally be the approach to your diet. I don't recommend you in real life actually subsist on only wheat. I suspect that would be bad for you in the long run. But the peasants haven't seemed to complain yet. Granted, I haven't given them much chance to complain yet, but so far, it's all good. Okay, I have put some detailing up here. We're probably going to have this little area here for a couple of archers, maybe 1 or 2 just stood here. They can shoot down at pretty impressive angles. They tend to be able to do things like shoot in that direction from somewhere standing here. But I think having one up here is going to just give George that extra little bit of protection. Because, I mean, Bob is awesome, but Bob is just one archer. We can't trust Bob. Or rather, we can't and shouldn't place the responsibility for George's safety on only Bob. You're awesome, Bob, but, you know, everyone needs a rest every now and then. And no one can have eyes everywhere. Not even me. Though my eyes are mostly everywhere, George. Just remember that. Now, I'm going to probably help out a little bit. In fact, generally what I've seen is that the zombies will prefer to go for you over your peasants. There's a distance, obviously. Well, that zombie spawned a long way away. But generally speaking, if you're reasonably close, they will try to go for you instead. Oh, man, guys, the outside of my castle is looking rather boring. Not sure I approve. Bob, what would you do, Bob? Scallywag zombie! I telegraphed my attack far too well. Would you put perhaps a window over here, Bob? I think we should. I think we need a wee window just inside there. It would look silly though. I don't know. That's a tricky one because I don't want the front of the building just to have this weird. Just plain wall. Maybe if we added some extra detailing up there. My lordly bedchambers. Perhaps we could do something like have a little balcony. That would be amazing. That would be truly amazing. Though also that would be a better thing for an archer platform. Maybe let's pop a couple of these out that protrude just slightly. Actually, they need to be a little bit lower down. Well, I'm gonna have to do this from above, right, Bob? You've got to keep an eye on George. I'm trusting you, Bob. Yeah, if we have the stairs over at the back, then we can have a little balcony out here, like maybe just like peek out. This is... It's not awesome, because currently the archers would have to climb up through the lordly bedchambers in order to go outside and defend the keep. Though, that being said, the archers never seem to move from their post. They're very well-trained archers. Very, very good discipline. Also, enormous bladders. They never seem to need to go for a wee. Well done, archers. But I'm thinking maybe if we had some sort of... oh, no, archer... Oh! Okay, looks like our farmers are doing their job. They woke up. They received the report from Bob. They just kind of rolled their eyes. I think they've just come to accept George for who he is, and they don't really have many expectations at this point of being saved. They realize that if they don't die in the night, it's Bob's doing. Bob is the reason why they didn't get their brains numbed. George, what are we going to do with you, eh? Right, okay, so at this point, let's check on how many arrows we've got. We've actually still got quite a lot of arrows, and we're starting to accumulate the wheat, so I feel fairly confident getting ourselves a new colonist. There we go. Colonists recruited. I'm going to... Actually, I think we're going to have to have another farm, and this farm... will be out here as well, so let's go ahead into the editing mode. There we go, wheat farm, perfect. Let's draw that out to a 10 by 10. Ah, scallywags, I always left click when I meant to right click. There we are, 10 by 10, perfect. And then we need to go and recruit that colonist. We should have, oh wait, no, we've got to have a bed, don't we? Ah, of course, yes. Yes. We need to go and place down a bed up here. Well, you know what, these were going to be my lordly bed chambers, but you know what? I am a lord of the people, once again. My room is your room. There we go. So we've got 2 more beds. Perfect. Right. Let's get 2 more colonists. Go on then. We're not going to be able to afford the second colonist right now. Wow, did you just immediately eat food? Because we went down from an awful lot to very little. You scallywag. Oh well, we should be okay. They should be able to accumulate enough food to sort that out, but I'm a little bit concerned, I'll be honest. Now you can help out your people, and I recommend you do. You know, don't just leave them to it. Just pitch in now and then when you can. I'll place this over here though, so that you can drop all of that off. But you can go ahead and harvest the wheat, and that just means that they are going to be able to replant a little bit faster than normal because you will have cleared the way for them. See, though I am confusing them a little bit. It's like, well, why is the king out here harvesting the wheat? This is my job. Am I being fired, my lord? No. Your job is secure. In my kingdom, everyone works. Because, you know, basically I won't hire you unless there's a job for you. However, we are... going to have to worry a little bit about food. I was hoping that we'd be able to get a second person, but we're probably not going to be able to. We'll just have to let our one peasant just, you know, expand the fields a bit. There we go. Let's get all of that going for you. And then next, in another 2 days, we should be in a pretty good position. Basically, we need 50 food to ensure that we are going to be okay for the coming days. Actually, I need to pop these in here, otherwise they won't have anything to replant. But we need 50 food because we're eating 25 a day. It'll take 2 days for the new crops to be ready to harvest, so that should be good. You know what, honestly, if we're gonna have 4 fields, it suddenly makes sense to do this. Let's give you a little bit of light, shall we? I'm gonna dig that away so I can put some brick down first. Yeah, pop that there, and then pop a torch on top of the crate. Then you're going to have light out in the fields. It's going to be marvelous. That being said, there's probably something to say about having the light on top of the crate, because they're going to have to move it every time they want to access it. But look, I can't solve all of the world's problems. I can just do what I can do. But we should be fine with the amount of food that we've accrued now. We're going to be fine up until the next light, as long as George doesn't let himself die. To that end, I'm really tempted to move George up top. It means I'm going to lose a bow, but fine. George, I need to get you up top so that Bob can stop having to watch out for you all the time. You can be up here, and you, in fact, can watch out for Bob a little bit. It'll be a change of pace for you. There we go. And we'll stick George right there. George, come up here. Where is George? The depth of field does throw me off a little bit. It's like, okay. But there we go. So George is moving up to the top. This does present some concerns for me. Namely, that there's not enough firepower down here now to ensure that this door is never going to be breached. On the plus side, through the night, I think I will take up George's position. I will be a better George. Me and Bob down here, George above, just taking the long shots. It'll be fine. Because, you know, George, as much as he doesn't like shooting now and then, he is actually a fairly good shot. So, you know, I'm going to put faith in George to make those long shots. And also, this grass isn't growing nearly fast enough. I believe it regrows. I might actually be wrong about that. Either way, you can just plant the grass blocks and it should be fine. There we go. Perfect. Now, once 2 days have passed, we are going to be setting up some mines, and that is going to be incredibly important for us. Now, one quick thing about zombie defenses, zombies cannot climb 2 tiles. So if a gap is 2 tiles deep, they can't jump down it. If a gap is a step is 2 tiles high, they can't climb it. So that's why the stilts, I think, is pretty good, because we are now forcing them to approach from there. That being said, just only having one door in the building is going to force them to come through that door. They don't climb walls yet. We haven't seen any ninja zombies, so I would not put it past them. You know, don't just assume there aren't any ninja zombies just because you haven't seen one before. It'd be a pretty bad ninja if you had seen them, frankly. But I think on that note, we're going to be wrapping up this first episode. In the next one, we are going to be checking out industry, and by that I mean we're going to be setting up a smelting operation down here, and maybe setting up some sort of guard tower above the entrance to the mine. That would be actually pretty cool, like on tall stilts and a tower above, and we can have some guards up there watching over our miners. Either that, or we just have like one guard all the way down here set to just mind this entryway. Any zombies come down here, that guard can take them out, and we'll just dig further back and build up some apartments back here with a couple of beds so that our miners can immediately go to bed of an evening. But that is going to be it from me, so I hope you've enjoyed, and will be joining me for the next. As ever, any feedback is warmly welcomed in the comments down below, and remember to leave a like if you liked, sub if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Keeping my eye on you, George.